bodyguard, bodyguard, bodyguard. A person who is employed to protect someone, usually a VIP or celebrity. Example, the singer hired a bodyguard to protect her from the paparazzi. Judge, judge, judge. A public official who has the authority to hear and decide legal cases in a court. Example, the judge sentenced the criminal to 5 years in prison. Forensic scientist, forensic scientist, forensic scientist. A specialist who uses scientific techniques to analyze evidence in criminal investigations. Example, the forensic scientist examined the fingerprints to identify the suspect. Lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. A person who is qualified to give legal advice and represent people in legal matters. Example, she hired a lawyer to help with her divorce case. Barrister, barrister, barrister. A type of lawyer in the UK who specialises in court advocacy and litigation. Example, the barrister defended his client in front of the jury. Prison officer, prison officer, prison officer. A person who supervises and maintains order in a prison. Example, the prison officer ensured that the inmates followed the rules. Security officer, security officer, security officer. A person responsible for protecting buildings, people or property. Example, the security officer checked visitors' bags at the entrance. Customs officer, customs officer, customs officer. A government official who checks goods and people entering a country to enforce customs laws. Example, the customs officer inspected my suitcase at the airport. Policewoman, policewoman, policewoman. A female police officer. Example, the policewoman directed traffic after the accident. Detective, detective, detective. A police officer or private investigator who investigates crimes and gathers evidence. Example, the detective solved the mystery using clues from the crime scene. Police officer, police officer, police officer. A member of the police force responsible for maintaining law and order. Example, the police officer arrested the suspect for theft. Programmer, programmer, programmer. A person who writes and tests code for computer programs. Example, the programmer fixed the bug in the system. Software developer, software developer, software developer. A professional who designs, builds and maintains software applications. Example, the software developer created a new mobile app for online shopping. Web developer. Web developer. Web developer. A person who builds and maintains websites using coding languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Example, the web developer redesigned the company's website to improve its performance. Database administrator. Database administrator. Database administrator. A professional responsible for managing and maintaining databases to ensure data security and efficiency. Example, the database administrator backed up all customer records to prevent data loss. Web designer. Web designer. Web designer. A person who creates the layout, appearance, and visual aspects of websites. Example, the web designer chose modern colors and fonts for the online store. Computer software engineer. Computer software engineer. Computer software engineer. A professional who designs and develops computer software and systems. Example, the computer software engineer designed a new operating system for mobile devices. Accountant. 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 A professional who records and analyzes financial transactions. Example, the accountant prepared the company's financial report for the year. Economist. 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 A person who studies economic trends and advises on financial and policy matters. Example, the economist predicted a rise in inflation next year. Investment analyst. Investment analyst. Investment analyst. A professional who evaluates financial data and provides advice on investment opportunities. Example, the investment analyst recommended buying shares in the technology sector. Businessman. 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 A man engaged in business activities, usually managing or owning a company. Example, the businessman expanded his company into international markets. Financial advisor. Financial advisor. Financial advisor. A person who provides advice on managing money, investments, and financial planning. Example, the financial advisor helped the couple plan for their retirement. Marketing director. Marketing director. Marketing director. A senior executive responsible for planning and implementing marketing strategies. Example, the marketing director launched a new advertising campaign to attract more customers. Actuary. 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 A professional who analyzes financial risks using mathematics, statistics, and economic theories. Example, the actuary calculated the potential risks for the insurance company. Advertising executive. Advertising executive. Advertising executive. A person responsible for planning and managing advertising campaigns. Example, the advertising executive worked on a new commercial for a major brand. Businesswoman, businesswoman, businesswoman. A woman engaged in business activities, managing or owning a company. Example, the businesswoman founded a fashion brand that became popular worldwide. Personal assistant, personal assistant, personal assistant. A person who helps a manager or director with administrative tasks and scheduling. Example, the personal assistant arranged all the CEO's meetings for the week. Director, director, director. A high-level executive responsible for managing a company or department. Example, the director approved the company's expansion plan. Management consultant, management consultant, management consultant. A professional who provides expert advice to companies on business strategies and operations. Example, the management consultant suggested ways to improve the company's efficiency. Manager, manager, manager. A person responsible for overseeing employees and business operations in a company or department. Example, the manager held a team meeting to discuss sales targets. Office worker, office worker, office worker. A general term for an employee who works in an office performing administrative tasks. Example, the office worker spent the morning answering emails and filing reports. Receptionist, receptionist, receptionist. A person who greets visitors, answers phones, and manages front desk duties. Example, the receptionist welcomed guests and directed them to their appointments. Sales representative, sales representative, sales representative. A person who sells products or services and represents a company to clients. Example, the sales representative traveled to different cities to meet potential customers. Salesman, salesman, salesman. A male employee who sells products or services. Example, the salesman explained the features of the latest smartphone to the customer. Saleswoman, saleswoman, saleswoman. A female employee who sells products or services. Example, the saleswoman helped the customer choose the perfect outfit. Secretary, secretary, secretary. A person who handles administrative work such as scheduling meetings and managing correspondence. Example, the secretary organized the files and prepared the meeting agenda. Telephonist, telephonist, telephonist. A person who operates a telephone switchboard, usually in an office or call center. Example, the telephonist answered customer calls and directed them to the right department. Customer service representative. Customer service representative. Customer service representative. A person who assists customers by answering questions and resolving issues. Example: the customer service representative helped a client return a defective product. Doctor. 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 A medical professional who diagnoses and treats illnesses. Example: the doctor prescribed medicine for the patient's fever. Paramedic. 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 A healthcare professional trained to provide emergency medical care before a patient reaches the hospital. Example: the paramedic quickly treated the injured person at the accident scene. Psychiatrist. 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 A doctor who specializes in diagnosing and treating mental health disorders. Example: the psychiatrist prescribed medication to help the patient manage anxiety. Dentist. 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 A medical professional who treats issues related to teeth and gums. Example: the dentist filled the cavity in the patient's tooth. Physiotherapist. 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 A healthcare professional who helps patients recover movement and function through physical therapy. Example: the physiotherapist helped the patient regain strength after surgery. Nurse. 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 A medical professional who cares for patients and assists doctors. Example: the nurse checked the patient's blood pressure. Pharmacist. 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 A healthcare professional who prepares and dispenses medicines. Example: the pharmacist explained how to take the medication properly. Social worker. Social worker. Social worker. A person who helps individuals and families with personal and social problems. Example: the social worker supported homeless families in finding housing. Veterinary surgeon. Veterinary surgeon. Veterinary surgeon. A doctor who treats sick or injured animals. Example: the veterinary surgeon performed surgery on the injured dog. Carer. 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 A person who looks after sick, elderly, or disabled people. Example: the carer helped the elderly woman with daily activities. Dental hygienist. Dental hygienist. Dental hygienist. A professional who cleans teeth and educates patients on oral hygiene. Example: the dental hygienist removed plaque and polished my teeth. Midwife. 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 A trained healthcare professional who assists in childbirth. Example, the midwife helped deliver the baby at home. Nanny, nanny, nanny. A person who takes care of young children, usually in a family home. Example, the nanny read bedtime stories to the children. Optician, optician, optician. A specialist who checks eyesight and prescribes glasses or contact lenses. Example, the optician tested my vision and gave me new glasses. Chemist, chemist, chemist. A scientist who studies chemistry. Example, the chemist is developing a new drug in the lab. Surgeon, surgeon, surgeon. A doctor who performs operations. Example, the surgeon removed the tumor successfully. Biologist, biologist, biologist. A scientist who studies living organisms. Example, the biologist discovered a new species of plant. Scientist, scientist, scientist. A person who conducts research in any scientific field. Example, the scientist is working on a cure for cancer. Physicist, physicist, physicist. A scientist who studies physics. Example, the physicist explained the laws of motion. Meteorologist, meteorologist, meteorologist. A scientist who studies weather and climate. Example, the meteorologist predicted a storm for tomorrow. Lab technician, lab technician, lab technician. A person who assists in scientific research and laboratory work. Example, the lab technician prepared samples for testing. Botanist, botanist, botanist. A scientist who studies plants. Example, the botanist discovered a rare flower in the rainforest. Researcher, researcher, researcher. A person who conducts studies and investigations in any field. Example, the researcher published a study on artificial intelligence. Diplomat, diplomat, diplomat. A person who represents their country in international relations. Example, the diplomat negotiated a peace agreement. Cleaner, cleaner, cleaner. A person who cleans buildings, offices or homes. Example, the cleaner mopped the floors and emptied the trash. Bricklayer, bricklayer, bricklayer. A worker who builds walls and structures using bricks. Example, the bricklayer constructed a new wall for the house. Carpenter. 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 A person who makes and repairs wooden structures. Example: the carpenter built a wooden table. Electrician. 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 A person who installs and repairs electrical systems. Example: the electrician fixed the broken wiring in the house. Mechanic. 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 A worker who repairs machines, especially vehicles. Example: the mechanic fixed my car's engine. Roofer. 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 A person who installs or repairs roofs. Example: the roofer replaced the old tiles on the roof. Glazier. 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 A worker who installs glass in windows and buildings. Example: the glazier replaced the broken window pane. Tiler. 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 A person who installs tiles on floors, walls, or roofs. Example: the tiler laid ceramic tiles in the bathroom. Driving instructor. Driving instructor. Driving instructor. A person who teaches others how to drive a vehicle. Example: my driving instructor helped me pass my driving test on the first try. Masseuse. 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 A woman who gives massages as a profession. Example: the masseuse gave me a relaxing back massage at the spa. Groundsman. 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 A person responsible for maintaining the grounds of a sports field, park, or garden. Example: the groundsman mowed the grass and prepared the football field for the match. Decorator. 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 A person who decorates the interior or exterior of buildings. Example: we hired a decorator to paint our house and choose the best color schemes. Blacksmith. 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 A person who makes and repairs things made of iron, such as horseshoes and tools. Example: the blacksmith forged a new set of iron gates for the farm. Gardener. 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 A person who takes care of gardens by planting flowers, cutting grass, and maintaining plants. Example: the gardener planted roses and trimmed the hedges in the backyard. Plumber. 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 A person who installs and repairs pipes, water systems, and drainage systems. Example: we called a plumber to fix the leaking pipe in our kitchen. welder, welder, welder. A person who joins metal pieces together using heat or pressure. Example, the welder used a torch to repair the broken metal frame. Architect, architect, architect. A professional who designs buildings and oversees their construction. Example, the architect designed a beautiful modern house with large glass windows. Assembler, assembler, assembler. A worker who puts together parts of a product, usually in a factory. Example, the assembler at the factory was responsible for putting together car engines. Construction worker, construction worker, construction worker. A person who works on building and construction sites, doing tasks like bricklaying and carpentry. Example, the construction worker helped build the new shopping mall downtown. Interior designer, interior designer, interior designer. A person who plans and decorates the interior of homes, offices, and other buildings. Example, the interior designer chose modern furniture and warm colors for the living room. Chimney sweep, chimney sweep, chimney sweep. A person who cleans soot and ash from chimneys. Example, the chimney sweep came to clean our fireplace before winter started. Plasterer, plasterer, plasterer. A worker who applies plaster to walls and ceilings to make them smooth or decorative. Example, the plasterer repaired the cracks in the ceiling before painting it. Baker, baker, baker. A person who bakes and sells bread, cakes, and pastries. Example, the baker made fresh croissants and muffins every morning. Beautician, beautician, beautician. A person who provides beauty treatments such as skincare, hairstyling, and makeup. Example, the beautician gave me a facial and recommended a good moisturizer. Bookkeeper, bookkeeper, bookkeeper. A person who records financial transactions and keeps financial records for a business. Example, the bookkeeper ensures that all expenses and revenues are correctly recorded. Florist, florist, florist. A person who grows, arranges, and sells flowers. Example, the florist made a beautiful bouquet for the wedding. Cashier, cashier, cashier. A person who handles payments and transactions at a store, restaurant, or bank. Example, the cashier gave me my receipt and wished me a good day. Shop assistant, shop assistant, shop assistant. A person who helps customers in a store by answering questions and organizing products. Example: the shop assistant helped me find the right size for my dress. Estate agent. Estate agent. Estate agent. A person who helps buy, sell, or rent houses and properties. Example: the estate agent showed us 3 different apartments in the city. Sales assistant. Sales assistant. Sales assistant. A person who supports sales by helping customers and managing stock in a shop. Example: the sales assistant helped me choose the best laptop for my needs. Shopkeeper. 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 A person who owns or manages a small shop. Example: the shopkeeper opens his store at 8 a.m. every morning. Tailor. 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 A person who makes, repairs, or alters clothes to fit customers. Example: the tailor adjusted my suit so that it fit me perfectly. Store manager. Store manager. Store manager. A person responsible for overseeing a store's daily operations, employees, and sales. Example: the store manager hired new staff and improved customer service. Travel agent. Travel agent. Travel agent. A person who arranges travel plans, such as flights, hotels, and tours for clients. Example: the travel agent helped us book a holiday package to Italy. Antique dealer. Antique dealer. Antique dealer. A person who buys and sells valuable old objects and furniture. Example: the antique dealer found a rare 18th century clock at an auction. Art dealer. Art dealer. Art dealer. A person who buys and sells artwork such as paintings and sculptures. Example: the art dealer sold a famous painting to a private collector. Barber. 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 A person who cuts and styles men's hair and trims beards. Example: I go to the barber every month to get my hair cut. Butcher. 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 A person who prepares and sells meat in a shop. Example: I go to the barber every month to get my hair cut. Fishmonger. 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 A person who sells fish and seafood. Example: the fishmonger had a fresh supply of salmon this morning. Greengrocer. 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 A person who sells fresh fruits and vegetables. Example: the greengrocer sells organic apples and carrots. Hairdresser. 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 A person who cuts, colours, and styles hair, usually for women. Example, the hairdresser gave me a new hairstyle for my birthday. Human Resources Manager. Human Resources Manager. Human Resources Manager. A person responsible for hiring, training, and managing employees in a company. Example, the HR manager organized a training session for new employees. Recruitment consultant. Recruitment consultant. Recruitment consultant. A person who helps businesses find suitable candidates for job vacancies. Example, the recruitment consultant helped me find my dream job. Cook. 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 A person who prepares food in a restaurant or kitchen. Example, the cook made a delicious soup for lunch. Hotel manager. Hotel manager. Hotel manager. A person who is in charge of running a hotel. Example, the hotel manager ensures that all guests have a comfortable stay. Chef. 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 A professional cook who is responsible for food preparation in a restaurant. Example, the chef created a special menu for the restaurant's anniversary. Tourist guide. Tourist guide. Tourist guide. A person who shows tourists around places of interest and provides information. Example, the tourist guide explained the history of the ancient temple. Bartender. 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 A person who serves drinks at a bar. Example, the bartender made me a delicious cocktail. Waitress. 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 A female server who takes food orders and serves customers in a restaurant. Example, the waitress brought our meals quickly and with a smile. Barista. 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 A person who prepares and serves coffee drinks in a cafe. Example, the barista made me a cappuccino with a heart-shaped latte art. Waiter. 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 A male server who serves food and drinks in a restaurant. Example, the waiter took our order and recommended the chef's special. Astronomer. 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 A scientist who studies space, stars, and planets. Example, the astronomer discovered a new planet in the solar system. Air traffic controller. Air traffic controller. Air traffic controller. A person who manages the safe movement of aircraft in the sky and at airports. Example, the air traffic controller guided the pilot to a safe landing during the storm. Bus driver. Bus driver. Bus driver. A person who drives a bus, transporting passengers from one place to another. Example, The bus driver stopped at every station to pick up passengers. Baggage handler. Baggage handler. Baggage handler. A worker who loads and unloads luggage from airplanes. Example: baggage handlers carefully transferred the suitcases from the plane to the baggage claim area. Lorry driver. Lorry driver. Lorry driver. A person who drives large trucks to transport goods. Example: the lorry driver travelled overnight to deliver fresh vegetables to the supermarket. Sea captain. Sea captain. Sea captain. The person in charge of a ship and its crew. Example: the sea captain ensured that the ship stayed on course during the long voyage. Taxi driver. Taxi driver. Taxi driver. A person who drives a taxi and transports passengers for a fare. Example: the taxi driver took the shortest route to the airport to avoid traffic. Train driver. Train driver. Train driver. A person who operates a train. Example: the train driver announced a delay due to a technical issue. Pilot. 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 A person who operates and flies an aircraft. Example: the pilot made an announcement about the smooth landing in London. Delivery person. Delivery person. Delivery person. A worker who delivers packages, mail, or food to customers. Example: the delivery person dropped off my parcel right at my doorstep. Dock worker. Dock worker. Dock worker. A person who loads and unloads cargo at a dock. Example: the dock workers were busy unloading shipping containers from the cargo ship. Actor. 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 A male performer who acts in plays, movies, or TV shows. Example: the actor won an award for his outstanding performance in the film. Actress. 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 A female performer who acts in plays, movies, or TV shows. Example: the actress played the lead role in the famous drama series. Artist. 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 A person who creates paintings, drawings, or other forms of art. Example: the artist displayed her beautiful paintings in the gallery. Author. 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 A person who writes books, articles, or stories. Example: J.K. Rowling is the author of the Harry Potter series. Musician. 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 A person who plays musical instruments or composes music. Example: The musician performed a beautiful song on the piano. Photographer. 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 A person who takes photographs professionally. Example: the photographer captured stunning images of the sunset. Model. 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 A person who poses for photographs, advertisements, or fashion shows. Example: the model walked gracefully down the runway in a designer dress. Comedian. 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 A person who entertains people by telling jokes or performing funny acts. Example: the comedian made the audience laugh with his hilarious jokes. Composer. 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 A person who writes and creates music. Example: Beethoven was a famous composer of classical music. Dancer. 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 A person who performs dance as an art form or entertainment. Example: the dancer performed a breathtaking ballet routine. Film director. Film director. Film director. A person who controls the making of a film, guiding the actors and crew. Example: the film director won an award for Best Movie of the Year. Disc jockey. Disc jockey. Disc jockey. A person who plays and mixes music at events, clubs, or on the radio. Example: the DJ played a mix of popular songs at the party. Singer. 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 A person who sings professionally. Example: the singer performed live in front of thousands of fans. Television producer. Television producer. Television producer. A person responsible for managing TV shows and productions. Example: the television producer organized the filming schedule for the new reality show. Master of Ceremonies, MC. Master of Ceremonies, MC. Master of Ceremonies, MC. A person who hosts events, ceremonies, or television shows. Example: the MC introduced the performers at the talent show. Editor. 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 A person who reviews and corrects written content before publication. Example: the editor checked the article for spelling mistakes before publishing it. Fashion designer. Fashion designer. Fashion designer. A person who creates new styles of clothing. Example: the fashion designer showcased her latest collection at Paris Fashion Week. Graphic designer. Graphic designer. Graphic designer. A person who creates visual content using design software. Example: The graphic designer made an eye-catching poster for the concert. Illustrator. 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 An artist who creates pictures for books, advertisements, or other media. Example: the illustrator drew colorful images for the children's book. Journalist. 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 A person who writes news stories and reports. Example: the journalist covered the latest international events. Playwright. 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 A person who writes plays for theatre. Example: William Shakespeare is one of the most famous playwrights in history. Poet. 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 A person who writes poetry. Example: the poet wrote a beautiful sonnet about love. Sculptor. 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 A person who creates sculptures from materials like stone, metal, or wood. Example: the sculptor carved an impressive statue out of marble. Choreographer. 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 A person who designs dance routines and movements. Example: the choreographer created a stunning performance for the ballet show. Dance teacher. Dance teacher. Dance teacher. A person who teaches dance techniques and routines. Example: the dance teacher helped students learn the basic steps of salsa. Fitness instructor. Fitness instructor. Fitness instructor. A person who trains others to stay fit and healthy. Example: the fitness instructor led an intense workout session at the gym. Personal trainer. Personal trainer. Personal trainer. A fitness professional who provides individualized exercise programs. Example: my personal trainer designed a workout plan for me to lose weight. Professional footballer. Professional footballer. Professional footballer. A person who plays football as a career. Example: Cristiano Ronaldo is a world-famous professional footballer. Sportsman. 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 A male athlete who participates in sports. Example: the sportsman trained daily to prepare for the Olympic Games. Sportswoman. 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 A female athlete who participates in sports. Example: the sportswoman won a gold medal in the 100-meter sprint. Lecturer. 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 A person who teaches at a university or college. Example: The lecturer gave a detailed presentation on modern history. Translator. 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 A person who converts written text from one language to another. Example: the translator worked on translating the book from French to English. Teaching assistant. Teaching assistant. Teaching assistant. A person who helps a teacher in the classroom. Example: the teaching assistant helped students with their assignments. Teacher. 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 A person who educates students in a school or institution. Example: the teacher explained the lesson clearly to the students. Priest. 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 A religious leader in Christianity who performs religious ceremonies. Example: the priest led the Sunday service at the church. Sailor. 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 A person who works on a ship as part of the crew. Example: the sailor spent months at sea. Soldier. 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 A person serving in the army. Example: the soldier was stationed at a remote military base.